Assistant editorial page editor James Freeman joins me now on set here in New York. We're going to continue on the Mitt Romney 47% remark and the president's responses. James, last night we saw the president get on David Letterman's show and say, "I'm for all Americans,"
right,
not just the 53% that Mitt Romney is focusing on. What do you make of that response?
Well, I think Steve might be right that this 47% comment, inelegantly phrased, is not really a killer for Mitt Romney, and it actually is a potentially very dangerous territory for the president. I thought it was significant. Mr. Obama did address it on the Letterman show, but yesterday Joe Biden did not want to talk about this at all. Now, this may be because the White House has decided to muzzle the vice president, a lot of gaffes. Maybe, I don't know, but it's significant. Pressed by reporters, the vice president continued to avoid this topic. And I think it's because if this campaign moves into a debate about what kind of society we want, the Obama entitlement state or something based on free enterprise and people moving into becoming income tax paying productive citizens, that's probably a win for Mitt Romney.
Well, James, Steve just talked about the new ad campaign that the Romney camp has come out with. Mr. Romney has also started talking about how he's not for redistribution. He's for empowerment, something we suggested on the editorial page this morning. Is this enough, or does Mr. Romney need to go further in pushing his agenda for the nation?
He needs to explain a lot. He's got a lot of explaining to do on how his policies will improve the economy. I think these debates are big. I'm not in the camp that says the economy's so bad that eventually people will decide they've got to fire Obama, even if they're not sold on the alternative. But I think this is getting on territory that, as inelegantly as it was phrased, is actually where Mr. Romney needs to go to start drawing some distinctions between the future we have of kind of a life of mediocrity and dependence on government with Mr. Obama, the Julia phenomenon, versus let's get back to the idea that we have a vibrant, free society and an economy where people have opportunity and they don't want to be on welfare. They don't want to be on food stamps. They want to work.
Okay, James, then how do you explain the latest Real Clear Politics average? You've got the president at around 48%, Mr. Romney at around 45%. These aren't perfect polls. Real Clear is an average, so let's go with it for now, 3-point spread. With an economy this bad, how is the president maintaining that lead? And also, why is he now leading in some of the swing states?
Well, I think part of it is you have to say the president has been successful in convincing the American public that a lot of this is not his fault, that it's all his predecessor, and so you should cut him a lot of slack. So I think you combine that with Mitt Romney not making the case for growth economics as well as he can so far, and you get a very tight race. And I remind people, it's a tight race. Some of the chatter suggesting that Mr. Romney is out of it is kind of silly when you look at all of these polls, granted with an Obama edge, but often within the margin of error. So I think it's there's an opportunity here. He's got about 6 weeks. Mr. Romney needs to go to the debate and forcefully explain why he's going to grow the economy and grow jobs.
You know, one of the things that we talked about in the editorial this morning was tax policy and how Mr. Romney should explain how his 20% across the board tax cut would help the average American. Has he demonstrated any ability to do this to date, James? And how do you counter?
He can do this. I think one thing about that video is discouraging is he seems to be saying he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't think there are any more votes there.
Because he doesn't care, right? That's right.
But I think there are votes there, and I think there are votes there if you can explain to everyone, because everyone wants a growing economy. I mean, even if you're a local government worker, you understand that you need a vibrant economy to provide the income, the wealth to pay your salary. So I wouldn't write off everyone in that 47. That was one of the mistakes in there. But I think there is an opportunity for him to do what he did last winter, which is when pressed, when he really has to do it to win because he's a competitive person, embrace and articulate a message of growth. It took him a while last winter to get there. We kind of wish he had talked about tax reform earlier, but he's now got the same challenge here, and I think he'll rise to the occasion.
Okay, Assistant Editorial Page Editor James Freeman with the last word on the 47%. James, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Mary.